everybody, WhatCulture Wrestling's Adam Cleaver here, joined as ever by Housewife's favourite and stylish masturbator, Adam Nicholas, for another hot fried slice of your hashtag good afternoons. But before I start, the keen eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that I'm not sitting on my usual sofa or in the usual place that we do all these videos, and to you I say, there was a wasp. What do you want me to do? I can't film in there. There was a wasp. So I opened all the windows hoping the wasp would leave, and then when I came back, there was 2 wasps. But never mind any of that. We've got some hot fried scandal from WWE, who are secretly removing matches from certain stars off their network. But what have you got, Adam Nicholas?
We have got the fact that there are 2 WWE Retribution members' identities who might have been revealed, and unfortunately ex-WWE wrestler Buff Bagwell has been involved in a serious car accident as well.
Oh, I was going to jump in and do my bit going, well, that's far more interesting than that.
You were going to be all excited there, weren't you?
Yeah. That sounds terrible. Anyway, our lead story today, you may have already seen on the website or indeed on social medias, is that there has been, it's shoot season, boys. The pistols are out, they're smoking, they're laying into Vince McMahon. The former Curt Hawkins, Brian Myers, has been on Impact, and he, as you may have seen on Impact's very own official social media channels, has been laying in to WWE. Following his defeat to Eddie Edwards on a recent show, he literally said, he sat down and he said, hang on, I've got the exact quote here, "It disgusts me that major decisions in this business are being made by an out-of-touch 70-year-old man in some goofy production meeting." Now, we here at WhatCulture, we've had a big think about who this out-of-touch 70-year-old man with goofy production meetings could be, and we think he might be referring to WWE owner Vince McMahon. Of course, Hawkins, as he was known in the company, was released during the eponymous Black Wednesday, in which several of the company stars were let go in the midst of an ongoing global bastard unable to, go find anywhere else to work. Hawkins' wife was 6 months pregnant at the time, and he has used all this in a work shoot on Impact. Now, as has been discussed, the Impact character of a bitter, jaded former WWE star is a gimmick that's handed down from star to star, from star to star, and from star to star. So this is nothing new, and the fact that Impact chose to put it on their own social media channels probably says it's not quite as explosive and full of vitriol as you might think. But nonetheless, Adam Nicholas, bold move.
A bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. But I have to say, when you mentioned a 70-year-old man who is involved with wrestling, I was confident you were going to tell me it was Michael Hamflett. But as it happens,
that's what I thought initially. But we talked about it. We thought it might be Vince. I was waiting
for the name, but apparently Vince McMahon is the one. I can't believe that myself. He seems like such a great guy, Vince. But yes, this is certainly not a new trope, is it? But I guess they need to get out of the system, and whatever's gonna tickle your fancy, I guess, something along those lines. Should we talk about some other creative things that are going on in the world of wrestling right now, Adam Cleary?
Please.
Ooh, I thought you might like that. Well, we've got 2 of the members from WWE Retribution who have potentially had their identities revealed. Don't
you do this? Don't let him make that stick. Do not give him that.
I've got to let him. Look, Adam Wilborn's gimmicks are there, and I have to help him out with them sometimes just to spread the word. Otherwise, we're contractually obliged to do these things. What are you going to do? Although maybe you might not be, but I am. Anyway, two members of Retribution who are still potentially being I've lost this completely, but they've potentially had their identities revealed, according to Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer and of course Figure 4 Online, who seems to think, based on, or for one of them at least, based on the purple highlight of hair that we could see coming out of one of their hoods, that we could have been looking potentially at, and apologies for butchering her name, Jessie Camilla, who of course was on last night's episode of NXT. She was featured against Dakota Kai and got her ass whooped, obviously, as you'd imagine, because Dakota Kai's class. But also on top of that, we also have potentially Santana Garrett, who Alvarez also sort of believes might also be one of the other women under the hoods, and obviously the other names that kind of go along with that are the likes of Dijakovic, Tommaso Ciampa and Vanessa Bourne, but those ones he's not so sure on. But those 2, Garrett and Jessie Camilla, are people he believes could well be revealed eventually as those who are members of Retribution. Adam Cleary, your thoughts, and more importantly, do you care?
I do care. The Retribution angle is really, really good, but I think it's very important that we are aware at all times here that who is dressing up as Retribution on all of these shows is probably not going to be who was ultimately revealed as Retribution when it finally all comes out, because WWE, as we should have learned with that goddamn spider in that goddamn cage, just like to do things because of a bit of a ratings pull and then figure them out at a later date. Sooner or later, the Retribution angle, God, it's so tiresome already, everybody, is going to be used to get somebody a little bit of a push. But who that person is, they've probably never dressed up as them yet, and WWE probably even don't know themselves at this juncture, is what I would say.
I couldn't agree more with you there, and I think it's no coincidence we've seen them changing sizes and shapes and all sorts, because they haven't got a clue and they're just trying to mix it up, and as if we're thick enough not to notice.
Well, speaking of things they hope we're thick enough not to notice, the WWE Network has very quietly removed several Bret Hart specials from the network without any kind of statement from the company or any kind of reasoning as to why they have done this. Now, I'm just going to be straight off the bat here. We don't know why they've done this. The Wrestling Observer have speculated that it might have something to do with the ownership rights of a Stampede Wrestling. A number of these specials did feature Bret Hart matches from Stampede Wrestling, and there's always been a bit of a question mark over who owns the right. Like WWE have the library, but Bret Hart owns his matches because he bought them off his parents or some such like that. But there are other things still on the network which include some of these things. So it's not necessarily going to be that, but they have very quietly removed the following network specials. Most Powerful Families in Wrestling, that's from last year. Bret Hart, The Dungeon Collection from 2013. Greatest Rivalries, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels from 2011. WWE's 50 Top Superstars from 2010. Ooh, a list, where did they get that idea? Heart and Soul, The Hart Family Anthology from 2010. And Bret Hart, The Best There Is, The Best There Was, The Best There Ever Will Be from 2005. Now, if you just pause for 1 second, you can, very faintly, hear Michael Hamflett sobbing into his $9.99 subscription, but nonetheless, that is a big chunk of Bret Hart content removed from the network for, as yet, an unknown reason. Any theories, pal?
I haven't got any theories at all, to be honest. This just sounds like Vince wasn't quite satisfied with the screw job by itself, and he thought he'd just turn another screw while he was like, no, this...
Do you know who hasn't suffered enough?
It's a very complicated thing, though, isn't it, with the Hart family? It has been for years. Obviously, we've got the tragedy with Owen Hart that goes even further down. So you'd imagine there's probably some frictions there about all of those sorts of things, particularly when it comes to wrestling footage. We actually saw Jeff Jarrett recently, didn't we? He's in a court case with TNA for that exact sort of similar reason, so I'm sure it's along those lines. Either way, I think as long as we can still watch Bret Hart matches, we should be alright, apart from the ones from Stampede Wrestling. The WWE ones, though, are still pretty good.
Who's we? You speaking French now?
Fair. Right, let's get on to our next story. We have to put our sensible hats on now, unfortunately, because WWE or ex-WWE star Buff Bagwell.
My sensible hat's in the front room with the wasp.
You were looking for a hat. The wasp's in there wearing your sensible hat. But yes, ex-WWE wrestler Buff Bagwell has unfortunately been involved in a serious car accident, it sounds like. This is coming from the Cobb County Police Department's report, who have essentially said that he suffered serious injuries following the car accident that happened on Sunday night. The 50-year-old was taken to the Wellstar Kernstone Hospital in Georgia, where he's being treated for his injuries. It is said that Bagwell has apparently lost control of the car while, quote-unquote, negotiating a curve. It sounds like he's collided with the median and a metal fence before hitting the curb and then smashing through what I believe is a freestanding bathroom at the Cobb County Transit bus station. It doesn't sound like anybody was in there, fortunately, which I guess is the upside to this, if there is a one. But the collision is still technically under investigation because they're believing that he might have been under the influence as a result of prescription medications. They are appealing for witnesses from the public as we speak. So it doesn't sound great. It sounds quite worrying, actually. Like, it might have been lucky to get out the way he did in this particular situation. And obviously, we don't know specifically yet, but they are still investigating. Adam Cleary, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, there's a long and storied history of pro wrestlers getting themselves into these kind of circumstances, under these kind of circumstances, and so long as nobody was hurt, so long as Buff isn't himself hurt, this is just one of those stories that's not particularly pleasant to report on. We wish him the best, hope of speedy recovery, and whatever it is he may or may not be dealing with, which has led to this, we hope he has a speedy recovery from that as well. However, I will say, I don't know what a freestanding bathroom is, so I've googled it, and the first thing that comes up is, you know those little baskets, the little holders you get?
Yeah.
I don't think he crashed into one of those. That's a slightly less serious story.
I'm assuming it was like a Portaloo, possibly, is what I'm assuming it was, something like that. But then, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, if it was a Portaloo, then I think we all wish Kevin Owens a speedy recovery then, in that case. But yes, that is your hashtag good afternoons for the afternoon. I have, of course, been Adam Cleary. This has been Adam Nicholas. I've become painfully aware as this video goes on that I just didn't really bother tidying my room up before I filmed in here. But in the blind panic of wasp rage, double wasp rage, I'll have you know, I have done the very best I can. And I'm sure you have too in sitting through the whole thing with us. So do let us know what you made of it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Adam Nicholas Nicholas, Twitter, where, how?
It's Adam Nicholas, and don't beat yourself up, mate. When Waspomania's running wild in your house, you've got to go with it. But where can they find you on Twitter if they want to send you their condolences about your Wasp situation?
It's at Adam Cleary, Clery. Please do not ask me about anything you may have seen in the background of this video. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. This has been your hashtag, a good after news, and we are buzzing, mate.
Oh, very good.